Well, welcome to ID Life. This week we're gonna do one of my favorite topics, the American snack. It is a contributor to one of the biggest problems we have in this country, which is a weight problem. But the biggest thing with a snack is not that they're all bad. It's us not understanding what it is we're consuming. So let's dive right in. We start out with the fact that we have a problem. This is no big guess or no big secret to anyone what the root cause is. We have a hand-to-mouth disease in this country. Our hand finding our mouth way too often with the wrong thing. And part of the presentation today is going to be talking about the snack because it is that is contributing more to that waistline issue than anything else. In fact, it's contributing to 74% of us being overweight. But more importantly, it's also contributing to 1/3 of our children being overweight. And the children issue is one of the ones we really need to pay attention to, because a lot of times what happens is we grab things that have been created in the stores and be created by the processed food industry and created by others that are considered snack foods, easy, quick, convenient foods that are actually costing us our health. And those are the types of things I want to go through today to kind of educate you on where we are. See, in this country, a pound of fat is going to burn 2 to 3 calories per day. And that's not just this country, it's every country, but a pound of fat is going to burn 2 to 3 calories a day. A pound of muscle is 7 to 9 calories. But see, when you actually look at this country's numbers and you look at the body fat percentage of the average person, a man should be between 10 and 22% body fat, but on average here, we're 28.1%. And women, they're now at 40%. And in fact, recently, for the first time in history, women just took over men as the most obese population on the planet. There's something that we can do, but it starts with education. See, so many people, especially this time of year, want to focus on the 40 inches around their waist. And in reality, for us to truly understand the decisions that we're making, we have to focus on the 6 inches between our ears. We have to educate ourselves and understand when we turn over a label what it says, what it means, and what it's doing to our body. So let's jump right in. Homer Simpson isn't the only one that has an issue with snacks. There are an endless supply of snacks. Seems like everywhere we go, we're inundated with options, choices, some that appear to be healthy, some that appear not to be so healthy, but we're making those choices anyway. In fact, it's so prevalent that now we are consuming on average 2,375 calories per day. This is the American caloric intake, 2,375 calories per day. But the biggest issue is, if you look on that right-hand side, is the snacks. See, men on average, we're spending 586 calories a day on snacks, women 421. That is lovingly referred to in this country as the fourth meal of the day. So many people are looking at, how many meals they're eating. They're mindlessly consuming these things that are in desk drawers, that are in convenience bags, that are, the healthy little snack options that are in a bowl next to the computer screen, that when we get that urge, we just kind of reach over there and mindlessly grab. This is what's happening to us. Is it working? Absolutely, it's working. I mean, just look at the numbers. In 2006, the snack industry was a $56 billion industry. Today, $77 billion. This is a growth industry. So how do you take a health-conscious society, a society that is supposedly more educated today than we ever have been in history, and create this type of epidemic? Well, you do a little, bob and weave. You change some things. You hide some things in the label, but let's kind of look at it in a little bit more detail. First, we have to set the basis. Let's remember, you have to always start out with understanding what our daily consumption should be. So like for sugar, that's recommended for men to have no more than 9 teaspoons a day, and for women to have 6 teaspoons. Now, the simple formula is a teaspoon is 4. Basically 4 grams, 4 servings is a teaspoon. So that gets you 24 grams for women. It's 36 grams for men, 150 calories for men, 100 calories for women. Sorry, ladies, you have to consume less sugar because of a weight issue, men versus women. On the salt side, it's the same thing. So why are we talking about sugar and salt? Why are we talking about the salt needed for the average adult is 180 milligrams, but our daily consumption is over 3,400 milligrams? See, our snacks in this country are full of 2 main ingredients. They're called sugars and they're called salts. Now, there's also fats in there as well, but the 2 main culprits are salts and sugars. And the reason that is because every time we start seeing these snacks that come out and say they're healthy, or that they're fat-free, or they're reduced fat, or they're light, or things like that, when we're trying to do the right thing, but yet we still have that snacking craving craving, what ends up happening is the fat comes out and the salt and sugar go in. So we need to understand and appreciate how much we're consuming and really appreciate and understand what that's doing to us. So let's look at the average sandwich. Most people are thinking, okay, I thought we were here to talk about snacks. Well, why are we talking about sandwiches? See, when you look at a sandwich from the 1970s, what it used to be is the plate came with a sandwich with a pickle spare. And then today, all of a sudden, you see a sandwich and it comes with potato chips. Now, see, what you don't appreciate or understand is how that evolved. See, the potato chip companies decided way back when, probably 40 years ago or so, that if they could figure out a way to, basically get the potato chip into the average daily consumption of food, something that mindlessly was added into the normal regimen of the American consumer, then that was a way to increase sales, to increase those billions of dollars per year in snack consumption. So did it work? Well, what you ended up with was the pickle spare was roughly about 7 calories. So if you take the sandwich for what it is, you had that little added bonus that was 7 calories. The potato chips, that's 152 calories. So that one little change that today is just something we mindlessly add and don't even think about is almost 150 calorie upcharge to our bottom line, or what we refer to more likely as our waistline, that is contributing to our problem. These are the kinds of things that we mindlessly do on a daily basis. How is it? How did an educated society like America go from a 7 calorie add-on to a 152 calorie add-on and do it without even thinking about it? Think about the last time you went to a sandwich shop. Try to think of a sandwich shop anywhere that serves sandwich with pickle as opposed to sandwich with French fries or sweet potato fries or potato chips or you name it. The snack industry has embedded itself within our daily lives. Well, let's look at something else. Almonds, a very healthy fat. We need to have more nuts and seeds in our average diet. 14 almonds is 100 calories. But most people, when they have almonds on their desk or almonds in the desk drawer, or they're trying to eat healthy and they're grabbing almonds, they grab 2 handsfuls. They don't really think about it. But see, the thing is, when you grab those 2 handsful, that's 400 to 450 calories. That right there, that one little choice, you took something that was good and it turned it into something maybe not so good. See, it's not just the things that comes in bags, jars, boxes and cans. It's not just those things. It's not just the processed food. You can take something that is good for you, something that has a good fat, and you can turn it into something bad. So let's dig a little deeper. Here's a snack, that was created for kids. Let's be real. This was created for children. It's in fact made with real fruit. It is in fact made with real fruit. There's real fruit in it. Now, it doesn't say it's made with only real fruit. See, if you look a little bit closer and you look down at the bottom, you'll see it also contains, red dye number 40, yellow dye number 5, blue dye number 1. These aren't natural colors. These are things that they had to add the colors. But let's look a little bit deeper. See, the sugars is 11 grams. That's 44 calories. 44 calories of the 80 calories of this thing is from sugar. Let's look a little bit deeper into this. The protein, there's 1 gram of protein in this. That's 4 calories. Remember, it says fat-free right there on the box. It is fat-free, which means there's 0 calories from fat, but the carbohydrates is 76 calories. So what does this mean? What this means is this isn't a fruit snack so much as it is a candy snack. This is something that kids love because it's like consuming candy. This is a bunch of sugar. This isn't anything other than, just something that we're going to give our kids, and all of a sudden they're going to get that sugar spike. And in fact, most of the times they have 1, 2, sometimes even 3. And of course, you look a little bit deeper and you see some of the ingredients in there even include carnauba wax. And carnauba wax, most commonly used in floor waxes and car waxes and things like that. But these are the types of things where we need to understand how to read a label, understand what's in it, and understand what our children are consuming. Let's look at the Lunchable. This is now an over $1 billion industry. This was an unbelievable idea that almost didn't happen. In fact, if you read the history of the Lunchable, Philip Morris executives were the ones that decided that this actually had merit and actually put the money in it to keep it going, because at first when it came out, it just was not something that consumers were purchasing. But when you actually dig deep and you look at this Lunchable, what you see on there at the front of the label is 11 grams of protein. It kind of jumps off at you because that's what the marketing team has decided that moms are looking for when they're looking for healthy lunches for their children. They want to see that protein content. Well, in reality, that 11 grams of protein is 44 calories. 44 calories of the 320 comes from protein. But where does the rest come from? Where do we get all of the rest of the calories in this meal? Well, 8 grams of it is fat. That's 72 calories of this. And then, of course, the carbohydrates. That's the major load. That's 204 calories. Now, remember back. We talked about the average sugar consumption in this country for women should be 6 grams or 6 teaspoons, and for men is 9 teaspoons. Well, children, it's also 6 teaspoons. But if you actually look at the sugar content in this Lunchable, what you find is it has 27 grams of sugar. That's 6.75 servings. That is 0.75 servings more than the total consumption for a day that a child is supposed to have. So this one meal, this one quick, convenient, easy, drop in a box and have the kid eat at lunch meal is more sugar than they should consume in an entire day. And this doesn't count what they had for breakfast. This doesn't count what they had for dinner. This doesn't count snacks in between, or what we're going to talk about here in a second is the sugary beverages that they also consume. This one quick and convenient time-convenient meal has turned into a sugar load that the children just can't handle. It's an issue that we need to pay attention to and understand. Let's look at the other thing that we mindlessly drink on a regular basis and don't even think of as a snack. These are the liquid calories that we're consuming on a regular basis, be it your energy drinks all the way down to your fruit juices and fruit boxes and other things, or sodas as far as that goes. See, what we need to understand is 1 teaspoon of this stuff is 16 calories. So like this top line one, the Rockstar Punched, 19.5 teaspoons of sugar. Take 19.5, multiply that by 16. That's the number of sugar calories that are in this. And don't forget, look on that right-hand side. Refined sugar has no nutritional value. 0 vitamins, 0 minerals, 0 enzymes, 0 fiber. This is empty calories. This has no nutritional value. Yet these are the things that we're consuming on a daily basis. Even the canned sodas, when you look at this, these are 12 ounces. The average sodas now are 16, 20 ounces plus. And it doesn't even count some of the other things like the little Capri Suns that were in that Lunchable that are on this as 6 teaspoons of sugar just by themselves. Make sure you understand where your calories are coming from. Don't just count calories. That's not the true measure of health. We need to understand and appreciate where those calories are coming from. We need to understand that the snacking is actually causing a major epidemic in this country. Let's talk about fast food for a second. See, this is what's advertised to us. This is what we see. This is what the mind is thinking when we go to go to that drive-through and we see the picture on the menu. And again, I'm talking with you, not at you here. At one point in my life, I was 307 pounds. You don't get there by not understanding what fast food is or pizza at 1 o'clock in the morning. You understand what these foods are. But I know every time I drove through a drive-through, I would think this. I would see these pictures and I would think this is what I'm ordering. There was a group that decided that they were going to go out and they were going to order 10 different meals from 10 different locations within the same chain and try to see if they could find one that looked like the advertisement. And what they came up with was pretty crazy. See, if you look at this and you see the different ads and you see what it looked like in the ad versus the reality of what they got when they ordered the product, if you really saw this on the television commercial, if you really saw this in the print ad, if this is what the meal really looked like, is this something you would ever consume? Have you ever thought for yourself there's a reason why it's handed to you in a bag and that it's wrapped in a wrapper? Maybe it has something to do with the fact that when we're consuming this in our car, remember 20% of meals in this country are consumed in the car, that you never really look at the product because you're remembering what it's like from the ad, and all you do is open it up just enough so that you can eat it out of the wrapper. But if you really sat down and looked at this, is this something that you would really consume? And it's not just those companies, it's others as well. This is not something that you would make a conscious decision of, but the reality is we're making unconscious decisions. We're making subconscious decisions. These are things that are being sold to us, and we're just not paying attention. We have to start paying attention. But maybe it's not our fault. Food is an addiction. And in fact, if you look here, scientists have done studies to find that the food addiction is even stronger than a cocaine addiction. Yes, heroin has a higher addiction point, but it also has a higher crash point. That's why people are running from the fix to fix. But the reality is food is an addictive item. It is something that as Americans, we are addicted to. It is something that the world is addicted to, something we have to get control over. But how do you get to this addiction point? What happens? Well, see, there's this wonderful term, and if you're not familiar with it, you need to educate yourself on it. It's called the bliss point. See, the bliss point is something that food manufacturers have been using for a long time. The idea behind it is they can take sugar or they can take salt and they can continue to add them to a product until it gets to a certain level where they add just a little bit more, the taste of the product goes away. And in fact, the consumer doesn't like it anymore. But they back it back to that point, that tipping point of where the maximum amount of salt and sugar can be added to a food, and you absolutely get addicted to that food. They call it the bliss point. It is that point on which the food has its highest addictive quality. These are the types of things that are happening. These are the types of things that are happening to us every single day. This is why you can hear somebody across the room crunch a potato chip, and in your mind, your mouth starts to water. You can taste the chip, and you literally almost feel compelled to not even buy one, but you want to go over there and grab one of the chips out of the bag of the guy that you don't even know. It's that type of compulsive behavior, and a lot of that is linked back to this bliss point issue. And in fact, it's not just related to us. I mean, you can even take a superhero like Batman in this case, and you add some of these addicted things, and what you end up with is Batman is not immune either, because the reality is you absolutely cannot outwork a bad diet. See, snacking has to get controlled. We have to understand and appreciate what this is doing to us. We have to understand and appreciate no one is immune from this. I don't care what age you are. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what sex you are. At some point in your life, if you continue to eat the way that you eat currently and you don't appreciate or understand what these things are doing, you are walking on a cliff. You don't know where that cliff point is. I don't know where that cliff point is. It's different for everybody. We're all individually designed. But the reality is, if you do not pay attention to this and you do not educate yourself and you don't get the information that you need to start making informed choices now, one of these days you're going to hit that cliff point. And that 3 or 4 pounds that used to be easy to get off by just going to the gym and staying a little bit longer stays. And then it starts to add up. And bit by bit, time by time, all of a sudden you look in the mirror like I did and you're 100 pounds heavier than you were in college. And it only took me 10 years to get there. This is something that I'm talking with you about because it's very personal to me, because I fell into this trap. It's something that I struggle with daily. It's something that I have to keep mindful of. And it's something we want to continue here at this company of sharing the information with you so you don't ever have to go down that path. Now, the government's doing a good job of trying to help us out here. See, if you look at the current nutritional label versus what the nutritional labels in this country are going to look like in July of 2018, there's going to be some major changes. In fact, if you see the serving size at the very top, one of the things that's going to happen in this country is you're no longer going to be able to have a bag of something or a can of something that is considered a one consumable or one serving type size and be able to make it like 2 or 2.5 servings just so you can bring the calorie content down. Now it's going to be whatever that consumable is going to be the serving size. In addition to that, the calories are going to jump off at you. As you see on this picture, that 230 calories is no longer hidden on the left-hand side. Now it's really jumping off. And then, of course, the bigger issue is for the first time, you're going to have something called total sugars and added sugars on the list. In fact, this is the same product. This is the same formula. Everything in this is identical, but for some reason on the old label, the sugars is 1 gram. But on the new label, the 2018 label, the sugars is now 12 grams. See, there's this thing called added sugars. There's this thing that has been hidden in food for a very, very long time, especially if you know somebody that's struggling with diabetes or really trying to watch their sugar consumption. This is something that is sabotaging our diets and our lifestyles. Something where somebody's trying to make a good choice, trying to understand that they only want 1 gram of sugar, and that's why they chose this product. But in reality is that there's 12 grams of sugar in it. So you go from what is 1/4 of a serving up to 3 servings, 3 teaspoons in the same product. This is what's coming July 2018. It's very welcome by most people in the industry, and we're looking forward to it. In fact, at ID Life, we're already converting all of our packaging over to the 2018 standard as we speak, because we see this as a positive, not as a negative. There's other food out there that you might want to consider as a snacking alternative. It's what we call a 0-calorie food. And this is something you should really do a little research on yourself. What this means is 0-calorie foods are foods that they basically have a negative connotation. What I mean by that is they take more calories to burn than they have in the product itself. Yes, they're fruits and vegetables. Yes, here's a list of some of them. Some of them are things like carrots, asparagus, apples, cranberries, celery. All of these things can be used as snacks, but what happens is the calorie content in those items is nothing compared to the energy created within your body to burn those things. So it's what we refer to as a 0-calorie snack, almost kind of that, they always say the no-guilt snack. Well, these are the true no-guilt snacks. These are the things that you can consume. Now, one of the other things that we've done at ID Life is we've created other things as well, like our protein bars and our snack bars and our kids bars. We've tried to create some good, healthy alternative snacks. And, our bars are certified organic, or certified gluten-free, certified non-GMO, certified kosher. These are things that the body recognizes as real food. These are things that give the body the protein, the carbohydrates, the fats, the things that it needs to basically function in the percentages that it needs. These are things that, at ID Life, we're really trying to do the right thing by providing you the right information and get you the resources and tools that you need to get to the goals that you're trying to achieve. In addition to that, we have a great line of shakes, both from our vanilla and chocolate whey protein shakes to our vegan shake, not just made for vegans. Made for those people out there that don't get their fruits and vegetables every day, which is 75% of Americans. The whole idea behind the shake line is to give people another alternative, something else that they can grab as that snack, something that they can mix fruits and vegetables in with the shake and get something that can sustain them until that next meal.